Frank Ocean is a renowned songwriter and R&B artist born in 1987. He started his music career ghostwriting and then became a part of the hip-hop collective Odd Future, and has since released 4 projects. Nostalgia Ultra, his first mixtape in 2011. Channel Orange, his debut album in 2012. In 2016, his visual album Endless was released to Apple Music, and days after, he released his second studio album, Blonde. In today's episode, I want to explore what it is that makes Frank Ocean one of the greatest artists of his time, why his music resonates with so many people, and how he doesn't seem to have casual listeners, but instead lifelong fans who wait eagerly for his next release. No other artist has impacted me like Frank Ocean has, and I wanted to dive into that in this episode.
My name is Luis Mario Martinez. I am 19 years old. I study at the Flint campus at University of Michigan, and my major is in economics and a minor in political science. My initial discovery of Frank Ocean was like sort of discovery without knowing Frank Ocean. I heard like Nights and stuff and his like pop music and stuff, but I never really like actually knew about him or who he was until I will say like the summer of 2019, because I actually had like friends and one of my friend who was like he's very into music. He loves like exploring like artists and stuff like that. He introduced me to Frank Ocean and was like, hey, check out this song by Frank Ocean. And the song was Ivy.
I thought that I was dreaming when you said you loved me. The start of nothing, I had no chance to prepare, I couldn't see you coming. The start of nothing, ooh, I could hate you now. It's quite alright to hate me now. When we both know that deep down, the feeling still deep down is good.
And I remember hearing it and being in the summertime, like 80 degrees, the sun is setting and stuff like that. He plays it, and then I'm just like, this immediately matches the vibe of like summer. And I saw that, I was like, all right, I'm gonna listen to all this album. And so I listened to all of Blonde, and I saw that it was released in 2016, and it just really made me sort of like feel like, yeah, it captures the 2016 summer aesthetic, because I remember being a teenager and being like in a summer romance at that time. Kind of embarrassing, I was like 14, but it still like captured like, it was just like, I don't know, that was just my first experience with it, because I can't explain, like, I'm playing Ivy right now and I just can't explain like the his voice and the way he flows into the words, and the beat in the background just matches perfectly of like a bittersweet summer.
I really love how you put that, because I think for me, I also had like a really similar experience, and like Ivy is absolutely beautiful. I'm like, I wish I could remember exactly what first song I heard. Like, I obviously knew like Thinking About You, because it was so big, but I was like, oh, that's Frank Ocean, whatever. I never like actively went out of my way to listen to his music. But this 2017, which I guess would have been a year after Blonde was released, I'd graduated high school, and I got into like my first relationship, and I also think that's when I got Spotify, and so my like interest in music just became like kind of obsessive. Like, I was like constantly seeking out new music, and like Blonde was also like my intro to Frank Ocean, and it was like one of the first albums I listened to that just felt like so complete and beautiful, and I found it like hard to put into words why I loved it so much, or why it made me like so emotional. Like, it just resonated with me like unlike, like, in a way few things in my life have. and it's so hard to
Mm-hmm.
describe. And I feel like I'm on the like search to like figure out how to describe why Frank Ocean's music is so resonating with so many people.
I think Frank Ocean his music is sort of like the inner beauty of like the turmoil within like a lot of people, whether it be in sexuality or just within like their identity in general. With Blonde, the way I would describe it, I don't know, like I what you said made me like sort of like realize like what Blonde made me feel was like Frank Ocean like went into what I like my feelings, and like he extracted the feelings of like the summertime and summer love at a time when like I was I was in the complete opposite position, and he somehow like filled that gap and like that summertime, and I thought that was kind of crazy with Ivy Nights, and Godspeed and Siegfried, like this whole entire album essentially was just like sort of the encapsulation of summer love, and for me at least.
Yeah, I think, yeah, there is like a lot of almost, I don't know, it's just very raw and vulnerable, even though it's not in this like flashy way. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it just cuts really deep. And I don't know if you meant by like, or like what you meant by like opposite end of like it kind of filled that gap, and that like I feel like Blonde has a lot of heartbreaking songs on it, and I know that like even while I was happy in a relationship of like the summer of 2017, like the songs even before I experienced like a first heartbreak was like they still, oh my gosh, they just like ripped me apart, and I was just like I hope I never feel this way that this song makes me feel. And then I was like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
But like it was just like crazy. I don't know how intense like his music is for me.
I to me like I don't know, like this is like a very like weird outlook, but I don't really see, like I don't know, I feel like stories of heartbreak and stuff are just as like are somewhat like romantic, you know, are still romantic, because in the process of a heartbreak is essentially the reliving of the memory of of a relationship. And I think in the reliving of the memory of relationship, you're going through love once again, but then the reason why it's so hard is because you realize that love is no longer there. And to me, like heartbreak and love is, I don't know, like it's not really, there isn't really any difference, you know, to it, I guess. I see them as sort of the exact same umbrella of like emotions, I guess. I don't know how to describe it.
Wow, I wish I kind of had that insight that you had when I was 19. Like I think what I appreciate about Frank Ocean's music is like I remember, and this is something I still kind of struggle with, like just letting certain emotions destroy me and completely suck me up, and being like, okay, like this is what I let happen. I'm just gonna let myself suffer. And like I think Frank Ocean has turned that into something beautiful, and like I get the impression from Blonde, like I don't know, I just there's like, to me, I read no bitterness. I just like feel like appreciation for experiences and just like experiencing them. You go through an experience that's different, but it is ultimately about love, even though it's also about like detachment. And
Yeah.
that's just really interesting. And I think if any
Yeah.
artist like captures what you just explained, it would be, well, it would be like the song, like, yeah, Frank Ocean in general, I feel like.
Yeah. Because, you know, you said like this is a breakup album, right? I guess.
Right. Yeah, and I guess I've never like, because that to me sounds like so simple, but I guess essentially it is very much about heartbreak, or that's how I like read into it.
But like I thought it was very like interesting because the way in which the chords and the music and the beats are, it seems as if it's like the opposite of that. I don't know, like is it did you first listen to Chanel Orange, or did you like Chanel Orange more than Blonde, or do you think they're not, like, you can't compare them?
Okay, so my initial entry into Frank Ocean was also Blonde, and I did like Channel Orange, but I think because Blonde hit me in a time where like I was experiencing love for the first time, I was like happy in a relationship, feeling feelings that I never felt before. Like it just I think like you associate Channel Orange with your girlfriends. Like I think I have the same thing with Blonde, and it will forever kind of be like a time capsule. Like when I listen to those songs, I think about being in love for the first time, when I think about like the pain of like love ending. And I think that's why I think even beyond that, there's something about Blonde where, and I do feel this a bit in Channel Orange, like especially with the song Pyramids, which used to be like one of the songs I would skip whenever I would listen to like Frank Ocean's discography or whatever. I was like 9 minutes, like I don't really get the build up, whatever. And now it's like one of my like favorite songs ever, and I listen to it like a ton, and it's just like this beautiful like epic of a song almost, and that like it's obviously like a story, but I just think about around the like maybe it's 4 or 5 minute mark where like the beat shifts.
Big sun coming strong through the motel blinds. Wake up to your girl, for now let's call her Cleopatra. Cleopatra, I'll watch you fix your hair, then put your panties on in the mirror. Cleopatra, then your lipstick. Cleopatra, then your 6-inch heels catch her. She's headed to the pyramid. She's working at the pyramid tonight. Working at the pyramid. Working at the pyramid tonight.
And it just makes me like fucking emotional. Like I don't know, like so I think Channel Orange has like I love certain things about Channel Orange. I think I appreciate it in a different way than I do Blonde. 'Cause Blonde is forever gonna be an album that I like, songs play and I'm gonna like cry to them, because it just is so, I think just by association it like hits different than like a lot of other albums because of my like associations with it, and it's hard for me to remove that from music, whether that's like a good or a bad thing. So I think they are comparable. I think my emotions get in the way of being able to like critically view both and be like, okay, because I'm like, oh, this one I'm so fond of. I'm so fond of Blonde.
You know, I watch a lot of heartbreak movies. I don't really listen to heartbreak albums. I do now recently with Taylor Swift. She's a goat, obviously, a queen. But
yes.
And I became a Swiftie, but I like watching like heartbreak movies. Like 2046 is a heartbreak movie essentially. A lot of Wong Kar-wai films are heartbreak movies. But at the same time, it's like it sort of reminds me that there's still a lot of love within those heartbreak movies. That's when I sort of realized, at one point you had the thing in which you think would complete your entire life, or in which made you marginally happier, right? And then all of a sudden it's no longer there, it's just non-existent. But those feelings are still there, and you're just left with like, okay, what do I do with this? What do I do with these, with these feelings? And in my so far, it seems as if what you do with those feelings is like you just live with them, and then one day you just realize, you go, huh, it's not there anymore, or it's just like not as powerful as it used to be. And I don't know, like you kind of feel the growth within yourself. And I feel like in heartbreak, the other beautiful part about it is it's sort of a stepping stone for growth as well. In many instances and stuff. Clearly, that's shown in Frank Ocean's music, because through his heartbreak, he gives us his character development through Blonde.
Hearing you say that was really like, just, I don't know, it really resonated with me. I think I've always had an issue with things ending. Like, I've ended something and then I've been like, wait, like, it's so
maybe
hard.
I shouldn't.
Yeah, but I think naturally all things do end. And like, I mean, the reality is that like most relationships don't work out. And like, I've obviously seen that in many adults who are much older than me, that's just like how life is. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like not cut out for that. Like, I want to spend the rest of my life with someone. But
yeah.
And while that's like the reality
me,
from... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to, I would just say this, and I was like, what scares the shit out of me is like seeing those relationships. I was like, they dated for 7 years, and then after 7 years they broke up. And I was like, holy fuck.
I know. Like I experienced that for like 1 year, and I was like, fucking crushed. Like, I was like, oh, this is what I like, So, I literally can't, I can't imagine. But I know that like at some point that might be a reality for me, and like I'm gonna have to like face that. And I think it's very mature at your age to have had those conversations and to have processed that possibility, but still really be in the moment and like enjoy that. Like, if I could go back, I would rewire certain ways I thought about things, or certain loves that I personally experienced, because I think instead of just enjoying them and like living that, I was like, well, I know similarly you've had like similar anxieties of like, oh God, they're gonna leave me, what if I'm being annoying, blah blah blah. Like, you just don't enjoy the moment, and then it might be gone, and you're like, which sounds really sad, but I know it gets easier, and like it has, like, I don't know. And I feel really like thankful to have music that really, I'm just like, oh, this, not that, well, in a way it does feel like it makes it worth it, like dealing with really heavy emotions and stuff like that. But yeah, and just that whole grieving process that comes along with that. And then I'll wrap this up soon with you, because I don't know how much time you have. Is there a specific memory or experience associated with his music, if you wanted to like get into one, or like just describe one more? I know I have like specific car rides that stick out to me or something like that, but like, yeah, if you have anything.
Yeah, I was about to say, actually, car ride with my girlfriend, with Forrest Gump. I remember, because I hadn't like really listened to Channel Orange, so I wasn't like familiar with it. And then she put on Forrest Gump, which I think might be her favorite song on the album. But then we were driving, and then I was just like, oh, this is a pretty nice song. It's pretty cool. But then I was like, what perspective is this from, though? I'm trying, like, I don't understand. But that was a particular memory of it that I really like, that I really enjoy. Just, like, anytime I listen to Forrest Gump, it just reminds me of being in the car with her. And, like, either, just chilling in it or driving around.
Yeah, I love that. I think I associate certain songs from Blonde, Pink and White especially, I just associate with driving around at nighttime. Like, I remember the summer that I was really getting into Blonde and like into Frank Ocean, I would drive back and forth from Marquette, Michigan back to like my hometown, I guess, to like visit my boyfriend at the time, or like vice versa. He'd come visit me and we'd drive around, and like it was like pretty empty because it was like northern Michigan, you know, there's like not much, but like I love listening to that type of music at night now. And it just feels like, I don't know. It feels weirdly hopeful in a way. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of every heartbreak, it's like sort of hopeful because,
yeah.
I mean, like I don't know.
Right.
I think at the end of like every heartbreak is like hopeful because at least, you know, you knew the love that was there, you know, was true. I mean, this is obviously like this is like empirical because, you know, everyone has different situations, different breakups. But if, you know, like if the relationship was overall like, you know, healthy and stuff like that, heartbreak is sort of the significance of like, I don't know, I just keep on thinking about this quote from WandaVision.
Okay, what's the quote? I'm curious though.
And Vision says, you know, what is grief, but not love persisting, you know?
Whoa. Wait, did you say that's from WandaVision?
Yeah.
The TV show.
It's from Paul. Yeah, it's from Paul Bettany's character. The Vision. You know, he said that. I'm pretty sure he's the one that said that.
What is grief but love persisting? You said.
Yeah, that was the quote.
Okay.
And I remember, you know.
Yeah.
I hadn't watched a single episode of that show, I'm being honest. But, like, I remember seeing that quote, and I'm just like, that's a pretty good quote.
No, it is. Why did I think that was, like, Emily Bronte or something said that? Like, I don't know. I thought that, like,
it could have... I'm pretty sure
he could have been quoting
quote,
someone. Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, like, it wasn't, you know, straight... I'm pretty sure maybe right. He was quoting someone, or he was, you know... but I don't know, but like I just like remember that quote comes a lot, and like I just think like about that, like I just thought about like, you know, there's different forms of love, you know, there's many different forms of love, and I don't know, I don't necessarily believe. I mean, heartbreak is terrible because we feel the pain of the loss of love that was once there. But, you know, it's, you know, hopeful because, you know, hopefully, you know, that person left you off as somewhat of a better person, or at least, you know, has left you off, you know, with the understanding that you can move on, you know, definitively. And... you know, find another loving experience with someone or not, you know, it's up to everyone.
Yeah, I think that is a really good way to put it. Like, I think after my first love, I was like, oh, like, I'm never going to experience this again or whatever. And maybe that's, like, true. Like, you probably, you can't recreate an experience you share with someone, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
like love is always out there, I think, and like yeah, so it's like it's just nice to like think about that. And I even think about how I've been able to like prioritize, I think just because I've mentally been doing better lately, like prioritized friendships and like experienced platonic love in a way I haven't in a really long time. And it just feels amazing to feel like I have really good healthy friendships, and to experience that type of love is like incredibly healing. And I think, I don't know. Yeah, it isn't all bad like I once thought it was or something like that. I don't know. Okay, I don't want to take up a ton of your time, but thank you so much for being on the podcast and talking. This was like really fucking fun. But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a fun time too. This was awesome.
Hi, my name's Miracle. I'm 20 years old. I'm currently studying in university. I do criminology with psychology. My discovery into Frank Ocean is actually during secondary school. I think you guys call it high school. So during secondary school, everyone was singing the song "Thinking About You." Like it was a very popular song like within my year group. So like everyone would always be singing like the specific part, like a tornado flew around my room. Everyone would just sing that, and I was like. I felt kind of weird not knowing the song because it seemed like everyone knew it. So I was like, I need to do some research. And so I searched the lyrics, obviously, to Google because I didn't know the name of it. I had to do the cringe, search all the lyrics, type of thing. And then I found it and I was like, wow, this is actually a very good song. So then I started looking into all of his other songs and I realized this isn't just like a trendy thing that like everyone in my year is like singing. Like his music is actually quite good. So that's kind of how I got into like his music, because from there I just listened to all the other albums I kind of saw in like the little thing that comes up on Google.
Okay, yeah. And so it was kind of the same for me. Like I remember when Thinking About You was so big and I was like, okay, this song's good, but I never, at the time, like, I don't know if this is how it was for you in secondary school, but like I loved music and was like obsessed with it, but I never like really looked further. I just like I never like listened to complete albums really. Like I just listened to what I liked.
No, definitely.
Yeah, so Frank Ocean was like one of the artists where I was around like 18ish at the time when I really started getting into him, where I like listened to the album in full and was just like, whoa, like this is I love how like I associate Frank Ocean with like changing the way I listen to music and like appreciating it differently almost. So
No,
that
I
was like
that.
Yeah, that was cool. So what was your first, like, I guess, was it Channel Orange then that you got into first with Frank, or
It was,
project?
but also it was why can't I speak English? Nostalgia Ultra, the mixtape, because I
Yeah.
really liked Novocaine.
I think I started something. I got what I wanted. Didn't I? Can't feel nothing. Superhuman, even when I'm fucking Viagra, popping every single record. Auto tuning, zero emotion, muted emotion, pitch corrected, computed emotion. I blame it on a model bra with a Hollywood.
I feel like that song, because during that time I was kind of getting into music as well, because I was like planning on doing like music as a I think we call it a GCSE. I'm not too sure what you guys call it. I was planning on doing it, so I was really interested in like more the beat, if everything, than the lyrics. And it was one of those songs that like you could really get into and vibe to. Wasn't as depressing as I think a lot of his other songs. I could vibe to it more, so I feel like it was that, but also definitely Chanel as well, I think.
I discovered Novocaine 2 years ago. I was like in California, which I was there for the first time, and at that point I had really only known Channel Orange and then Blonde, which I loved deeply, but I didn't really listen to Frank Ocean's mixtapes. And then my friend was playing Novocaine in the car, and I was just like, oh my god, and it kind of like sparked me to listen to like his older mixtapes, because and like recently I was re-listening to like Nostalgia Ultra and
sure.
and Endless too, and yeah, they're beautiful in their own ways. Do you have a favorite song by Frank Ocean?
It is
And why?
definitely Novocaine. Not to mention it again, but it is definitely Novocaine. I like Pink Matter as well, but I feel like everyone likes that song as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Lost as well. And there's quite a few Pyramids, Super Rich Kids, Nights,
Yes.
Forrest Gump. Yeah, I like a lot of those.
Cool, yeah. Pyramids is like one of my favorites. Well, it's so hard to choose like
It definitely
Frank
is.
Ocean songs. Like, I don't know, I probably have like 7 favorites or something, but Pyramids is like so amazing. And I think Novocaine's cool too, because it's like similar to Pyramids in that they're very like story oriented, and like it just, yeah, I don't know, I love it. But yeah, and so okay, do you have a favorite album or mixtape?
I don't think I do, which is so bad, but if I'd have to pick, it would probably be Nostalgia Ultra, the mixtape, just because I listen to, like, I can listen to that, no skips, just, like, do my thing, and, like, I won't. It's one of those albums that I just don't need to skip anything at all.
I'm the same way, or if I had to choose, I would say Blonde, but that's just because, like, Blonde was, like, the first album I listened to completely of Frank Ocean, so I think that's why, but, because, like, there's specific songs that I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing, but they're, like, all over his discography.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I appreciate that his style is, like, I don't know, it kind of, like, transcends each album. Like, you just know a Frank Ocean song when you hear one.
You definitely do. He has a very recognizable voice and sound, I think.
Yeah. What do you think it is that, like, emotionally resonates or connects you to Frank Ocean's music?
I feel like his music isn't as surface level as a lot of artists. Like, I feel like they kind of just hit, like, the subject of the song. I feel like he kind of goes into songs a lot deeper, like, talking about, like, emotions and, like, just feelings. And I feel like that's how he, like, hit so many of his fans, because I feel like he has not happy music, but more like positive music. He kind of delves a lot deeper into, like, feelings and emotions, and, like, for me, he's really helped me, like, work through my emotions, and, like, I don't know, like, his music is very good to, like, cry to. Like, as cringe as it is, like, his music is perfect for that, like, when you're feeling sad and you just need some music in the back to, like, work through things. His music is really good for that.
Yeah, no, oh my god, I'm the same way. I, like, I was talking to my friend Luis, and, like, well, in general, it's kind of embarrassing, actually, how quickly I will cry to, like, a Frank Ocean song. Like, I'm so glad they don't play it in, like, thrift stores or, like,
honestly,
grocery stores or something, because, like,
you would just
no, for real. I just, like, especially, oh my god, like, White Ferrari, Godspeed, a lot of the songs on Endless, I'm just, like, literally within, like, 2 seconds of the song, I'd be
crying,
like,
you're crying, you're bawling, you just embarrass yourself. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, and I don't know, because I'm, like, a super sensitive person anyway, but, like, most music, like, if I'm listening to it in the car, I can be like, okay, I'm chill, like, this song is, like, making me sad, but, like, I'm not gonna cry, but, like, yeah, Frank Ocean's.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Something about Frank Ocean would definitely just make you cry. Even if you weren't sad before, it would just make you think of something sad and you'll just start crying.
Right, no, yeah, and this is something I brought up in the other interview, too, but, like, I listened to Blonde, like, I was around 18 at the time, and it was kind of before I got into my first relationship, and I remember listening to Blonde and being like, this music, it would make me so upset, and I'd be like, oh my god, I hope I never feel this way that this music makes me feel, because it makes me feel so sad, and it's just, like, it's crazy how he, like, captures that, like, heartbreak and just, like, grief.
And just puts it into a song, and whenever you hear it, it just makes you feel those things again. Like, it takes I don't know how he does it.
No, me either. Like, I know on one hand it's, like, the lyricism, like, it's very poetic and, like, beautifully written. And then I was watching this Genius video. I'll have to, like, explain the science of it in this podcast, but, like, it was talking about musical frisson, I think is how you say it.
Okay.
And how, like, when your, like, hairs raise on your arms or something while you're listening to music, and why that happens, and, like, or chords that Frank Ocean uses in his music, like, I guess, encourage that feeling, like, specifically in Nights, like, the beat switches.
Ain't no bitch in my body. New beginnings, new beginnings. Wake up high, the sun's going down. Time to start your day, bro. Can't keep being late on. Oh, you need the money, you gon' survive every night.
Okay, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this, but what do you think makes Frank Ocean's music stand out compared to, like, other R&B? And I know you kind of touched on this with, like, it not being as surface level, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. He just hit something that I feel like, not to completely like insult all of R&B, because R&B is a beautiful genre and everyone does his own thing, but I feel like he's kind of in his own unique bubble. Like, it's kind of like almost, or not like the cringy term, almost like alternative. Like, it takes like a different route. Like, you get something different from each of his like songs, and they all like, I don't know, they all like take a different turn in like R&B, because normally R&B is just kind of sad lovey music, and yeah, his music does do that, but like you said, like he does different things with like his beats. There's different beat drops, and like I appreciate the songs when like it kind of like, when you're listening to an album and like the merge between one song to another, it's kind of like their one song, and I appreciate how he does that.
Yeah, it all flows very well. Like, now I'm trying to think of like, there's a specific term for when you're listening to like songs in order on an album. Shoot. It's like, okay. It'd be like the art of album sequencing.
Yeah.
And I think, and now I can't think of like two specific songs that transition well, but I think all of them do. Like, they just like flow into one another, and it feels like, I don't know, his albums just feel like really complete, and yeah, I don't know. Like thematic.
I feel like
almost.
you worded it a lot better than I did. I feel like merge isn't the right word, but they definitely like move into each other very easily.
Yeah, and I liked that too, because that makes sense, I feel like.
Yeah.
But do you have like a memory or experience that you associate with his music?
Probably like back in, again, secondary school, so high school for you guys, we had to do art at one point. Like, it was mandatory that we had to do art from a certain age to another, and like we'd get art homework and I'd be super stuck, and I'd just be listening to music, just trying to find inspiration, scrolling through Tumblr, all of this, and then I found Chanel, the song, and I was just listening to it because obviously it was really trendy on Tumblr, and then like it kind of flew into like listening to all of his other songs, and it like really helped me to just focus and just figure out what it was that I needed to draw, because I can't lie, I left the homework until the last day, and you have to draw a whole like picture that was supposed to take like 3 weeks, and I obviously didn't start it 3 weeks ago, so I was just like, it just kind of helped me come up with something, and I ended up drawing something like really pretty, and I was really proud of it. And you know, like when they give you the big folder to like carry your art in, and like I'd normally be super like scared to carry it through school in case somebody saw it and was like, what the hell is that? But I was super proud of it, and I was walking down the corridor with like my art piece in it, you know, just thinking about how easy it was to draw. And even like I got to school and I was telling all my friends like, oh, I was listening to Frank Ocean, and that's how I drew it so easily. And they were like, we remember you talking about how you're struggling with it, and it literally just took you listening to Frank Ocean. I was like, yeah, you guys should totally listen to him. He'll help you with your art homework. And yeah.
I love that you brought that up, because I think there's something so inspiring about seeing and listening to someone be incredibly like raw and vulnerable and sharing their art in like a shameless way.
Yeah.
And like because like Frank Ocean's music is just like incredibly vulnerable, and I know for me, I've listened to him a lot while I'm like writing or doing stuff too, because just the way he like writes and the way like he forms lyrics just seem like so unique to me that it's like really inspiring. And you brought up Tumblr, and I was wondering, I don't know if when you were on Tumblr, Frank Ocean was also like...
Frank Ocean was definitely all over my Tumblr feed.
Really? Okay.
Feed,
wait,
yeah.
was he himself, like, did you see like Frank's posts?
It was, no, actually. Just like little gifs of him, and then from like his music video. But I should have looked at his Tumblr page. I feel like it would have been very, I don't know, very interesting, because like...
Yeah.
I've seen like his Twitter and stuff from like back then, and like all of the artsy stuff I feel like he used to post, and everyone used to repost of his things. I feel like it's very cool. I know that's straying from like music and everything, but
No, because I was like curious, because I completely missed out on that, or like I feel like now when I was looking into Frank Ocean and stuff, I was looking at his old posts.
Yeah.
And I was really interested because, like, I was on Tumblr around then. I was, like, 14 and probably listening to, like, Avril Lavigne or Britney Spears. So I, like, probably wouldn't have liked Frank Ocean, but, like, it's just interesting because it never really intersected. But I think it's cool he had such a strong presence on Tumblr. Like, I know he had a really good fan base around that.
Definitely, as well as, like, my friends in school singing that song, I feel like I found him a lot on Tumblr too before I even listened to him, and I was kind of like, ooh, who's this guy? Because he's a beautiful human being as well, so I was like, who is this person? I need to look more into him.
Right, yeah. Did you ever read Frank Ocean's Open Letter to Tumblr? It was published around 2012. I didn't read it until last year. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
No, I didn't. I definitely heard of it, but I definitely didn't. I didn't read it.
Okay, I'll have to send it to you because I think you would love it. It's essentially just him talking about falling in love for the first time, and it was with a man, and he was, like, around 19, and it was kind of unrequited, and it's just, like, it's literally, like, 7 paragraphs, and he, like, posted it to Tumblr, I think before the release of Channel Orange.
Okay.
And it's just, like, one of the most beautiful, raw, like, pieces of writing I've, like, ever read. I don't even know how to describe it. It just, like, it's amazing.
No,
but
you'll
yeah,
definitely
I'll
need
have
to send it to me.
Yeah. And then I think my last question, unless I think of anything else, but do you feel like Frank Ocean has influenced maybe your perspective on, like, love or sexuality or identity in any way? And if so, how? I know you kind of talked about how it maybe, like, got you through, like, difficult times or, like, procrastination and stuff.
I feel like his music definitely helped me through, like, whenever I was struggling with, like, friendships, and whenever I listened to him a lot during my first and only breakup, and and he definitely helped me through that as well as other artists, but definitely Frank Ocean. And I feel like as well seeing him on, like, social media kind of helped me come to terms of, like, I don't know, just feelings, and, like, whenever things have happened, he was, like, my go-to, as well as other artists and stuff. And he kind of helped me find other artists too, because, like, he'd feature on other people's, and I'd see Frank Ocean and be like, let's listen to this. And he kind of introduced me to, like, Tyler, the Creator, and I love Tyler, the Creator. And there's that as well. And, yeah, he helped me come to terms with, like, my sexuality and everything too, because seeing this figure who wasn't like, I don't know, like, not masculine, but like like straightforward and everything, I was like, oh, you know, maybe it's okay, maybe I don't need to meet this one mark, you know, it's okay for me to go into, like, you know, different groups, you know. And he kind of helped me I guess come to terms with, like, my sexuality and stuff, because if we're gonna be all technical, I'm pansexual, but I prefer to be referred to as, like, bisexual. And like, just seeing him, you know, I'd see him on Tumblr with, like, men, women, and, like, there'd be a lot of, like, people talking about how he helped them come out and everything. And I was like, oh, you know, it's nice to have this representation. I think that's what it is. Like, someone black and someone, like, someone so open about their sexuality. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, that was all so beautifully said, and I think
you.
yeah, for, like, I feel like it was really rare at the time for especially, like, a man in R&B. Like, I mean, I feel like he was one of the first people to, I don't want to, like, he doesn't refer to it as coming out, but, like, being open about his identity in that way, and I think that was awesome. And I'm the same way in, like, identifying as bisexual, so I think listening to Frank Ocean's music definitely helped me be more accepting of that, like, part of myself. And also just, like, kind of what you brought up about, like, friendships too, because I think when I've, like, lost friendships, or friendships have naturally, like, fallen away, maybe it's been, like, also incredibly painful in the way, like, a breakup was. And I think there's something about Frank Ocean's music that's, like, it's not, like, it makes everything beautiful, not that you have to, like, make your pain beautiful, but it, like,
it's so beautiful. It's like a warm hug,
yeah.
You know? It's like a warm hug to put it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, when you're going through, like, those situations, it's the perfect he literally has the perfect music to put on in every situation. If you wanna,
Yes,
if you wanna go crazy, you can put on Frank Ocean. If you wanna cry, you can put on Frank Ocean. If you, no, it's
Yeah,
so
no, there's-
appropriate for every
yeah.
situation.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh my god, like how much I love Frank Ocean. I just like, yeah. But okay, I think that was like all I have. Unless there's anything else you want to say, we're at like 25 minutes. But yeah, if there's anything else you want to say,
I think I spoke about everything.
thank you so much, Miracle. This was like so fun. I wanted to end the podcast by reading Frank Ocean's open letter to Tumblr, which he published on July 4th of 2012. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I'm starting to think we're a lot alike. Human beings spinning on blackness, all wanting to be seen, touched, heard, paid attention to. My loved ones are everything to me. In the last year or 3, I've screamed at my creator, screamed at clouds in the sky for some explanation. Mercy, maybe. For peace of mind to reign like mana somehow. 4 summers ago, I met somebody. I was 19 years old. He was too. We spent that summer and the summer after together, every day almost. And on the days we were together, time would glide. Most of the day I'd see him and his smile. I'd hear his conversation and his silence until it was time to sleep. Sleep I would often share with him. By the time I realized I was in love, it was malignant. It was hopeless. There was no escaping, no negotiating with the feeling. No choice. It was my first love. It changed my life. Back then, my mind would wander to the women I had been with, the ones I cared for and thought I was in love with. I reminisced about the sentimental songs I enjoyed when I was a teenager, the ones I played when I experienced a girlfriend for the first time. I realized they were written in a language I did not yet speak. I realized too much too quickly. Imagine being thrown from a plane. I wasn't in a plane though. I was in a Nissan Maxima, the same car I packed up with bags and drove to Los Angeles in. I sat there and told my friend how I felt. I wept as the words left my mouth. I grieved for them, knowing I could never take them back from myself. He patted my back, he said kind things. He did his best, but he wouldn't admit the same. He had to go back inside soon. It was late and his girlfriend was waiting for him upstairs. He wouldn't tell the truth about his feelings for me for another 3 years. I felt like I'd only imagined reciprocity for years. Now imagine being thrown from a cliff. No, I wasn't on a cliff. I was still in my car, telling myself it was going to be fine, and to take deep breaths. I took the breaths and carried on. I kept up a peculiar friendship with him because I couldn't imagine keeping up my life without him. I struggled to master myself and my emotions. I wasn't always successful. The dance went on. I kept the rhythm for several summers after. It's winter now. I'm typing this on a plane back to Los Angeles from New Orleans. I flew home for another marred Christmas. I have a window seat. It's December 27th, 2011. By now, I've written 2 albums, this being the second. I wrote to keep myself busy and sane. I wanted to create worlds that were rosier than mine. I tried to channel overwhelming emotions. I'm surprised at how far all of it has taken me. Before writing this, I'd told some people my story. I'm sure those people kept me alive, kept me safe. Sincerely, these are the folks I want to thank from the floor of my heart. Every one of you knows who you are. Great humans. Probably angels. I don't know what happens now, and that's all right. I don't have any secrets I need kept anymore. There's probably some small shit, but you know what I mean. I was never alone as much as I felt like it, as much as I still do sometimes. I never was. I don't think I ever could be. Thanks to my first love, I'm grateful for you. Grateful that even though it wasn't what I hoped for, and even though it was never enough, it was. Some things never are, and we were. I won't forget you. I won't forget the summer. I'll remember who I was when I met you. I'll remember who you were and how we've both changed and stayed the same. I've never had more respect for life and living than I have right now. Maybe it takes a near-death experience to feel alive. Thanks. To my mother, you raised me strong. I know I'm only brave because you were first. So thank you, all of you, for everything good. I feel like a free man. If I listen closely, I can hear the sky falling too.